I want to spend some time today just dealing with this one piece. Heaven cannot hide from a mother. Heaven cannot hide from a mother. This is just a simple message for you. If you open your Bible to the book of Mark, the 7th chapter, the 24th through 30th verse. And it says this quite simply. And from there he arose and went away to the region of Tyre and Sidon. And he entered a house and did not want anyone to know. Yet he could not be hidden. But immediately a woman whose little daughter had an unclean spirit heard of him and came and fell down to his feet. And listen to this part. Now the woman was a Gentile, a Syrophoenician by birth. And she begged him to cast the demon out of her daughter. And this is what he said. Let the children be fed first, for it's not right to take the children's bread and throw it to the dogs. But she answered, yes, Lord. And even the dogs under the table eat the children's crumb. And he said to her, for this statement you may go your way. The demon has left the daughter. And she went home and found the child lying in the bed, and the demon was gone. You know, as I look around the world we live in, I turn on the news, and every 10 minutes you'll hear about another shooting, another war, another scandal, or it's the same one that we still don't have any answers to. Another child going missing, another headline that makes the world heavy. The streets are loud. The schools are not safe. The culture is pulling our children in 1,000 different directions. And if not, some of us, if not all of us, are tired. Some of us, if not all of us, are afraid. Some of us are wondering, what kind of world did we bring children into? But I just want to take a moment this morning that even in a world like this, God has placed in our hands one of the most powerful weapons heaven has ever issued. It's not a sword. It's not a shield. It's not a strategy. It's not a playbook. It's a simple act of prayer. Now, Reverend Michael Ray, I believe that a mother's prayer is elevated over a regular prayer. The prayer of a mother is a weapon. The prayer of a mother has shifted nations. The prayer of a mother has raised prophets. The prayer of a mother has unlocked palace doors and broken prison chains. The prayer of a mother has crossed borders and broken curses. The prayer of a mother has reached into hospital rooms, classrooms, courtrooms, and brought heaven down into earthly places. Let me give you, I wish I could spend time running the roll, but I want to tell you that the Bible is full of mothers like that. Let me give you a few. I think about Jochebed, the mother of Moses. If you go back to Moses in the 2nd chapter, the Pharaoh is killing all the babies. She just has a baby, and her prayer is, as she's giving up this child, that I'm just praying that he will get someplace safe and not be killed. And he ends up in Pharaoh's house. Her prayer and her trust of hiding and putting a baby in the river got him to the palace and eventually to leading his people. I think of Hannah, the mother who prayed past the priest. She didn't wait on the religious people. She didn't wait on all of the others. She was declared barren and broken and weeping. And even as she was doing that, even as the priest was there, she was desperate. And she told God, if you give me a son, I will give him back to you. And God remembered Hannah, and out of prayer came Samuel the prophet, the man who would anoint kings and shape the destiny of Israel. Mary, the mother of Jesus, who was really a very young lady. She's a teenage girl in a small town, and the angel of Gabriel appears to her and tells her that you will carry Jesus in your womb. I know you're supposed to get married. I know what they look like at people if they get pregnant before they get married. I know how we in the church will try to embarrass people because they had a baby early. But in here, it's the same way Jesus came. No proof, no plan, against culture. And she chose to have the baby. And look at what happened. It was Jesus. I am here to let you know that the dimensions of a mother's prayer can transform. And this story gives you three things. It shows a mother's audacity, it shows a mother's tenacity, and it shows a mother's faith. Let's talk about the audacity. Mark tells us that Jesus has crossed into the region of Tyre and Sidon. He slipped away because he's tired. He was tateaching. He wanted to rest. But even in this foreign land that is not the land of the Jewish people, it is in foreign land, he can't hide because the people are still looking for him. And in this place, there's a woman that falls to her feet. You know, Jermaine, always, anytime they start describing things about a person in the biblical text, it's a clear sign that they want you to know about their background. So he described her as a Greek woman of Syrophoenician by birth, a Gentile. Let me give you what that basically means. She was a foreigner, not of his faith. She didn't know what to go to the temple. She didn't know the background. She didn't understand the purification ritual. She was from a whole different crowd. But let me tell you something about mother's audacity. If you got a sick child at home, you're going to walk through a brick wall to go help that child. Amen. You're going to do whatever you need to do to make sure your child is good. So here, she walks into a room full of men. In a time when women weren't at the table. She walks into a room full of men that don't know her culture, don't know nothing about her, but she's like, my baby is sick at home. And this audacious woman has what we always believe. She has audacity. She says the first thing, audacity. I will not let the system have my child. I don't know about you, but I know so many mothers that pray over their children every day and say, no matter what the structures and the systems and the politics, I'm going to make sure this system does not snatch my child away from me. You know, this is the thing. She is there and she says, I don't care what the men are thinking. I don't care what the room looks like. I don't care if I don't belong. I'm going to kick down the door and walk in that room and make sure that my child is good. I know I grew up in Mount Vernon, New York. I remember seeing black single mothers walk into the principal, the school board office defending their children. I've seen it here where people go into school schools where they're trying to marginalize, push, and force their kids to go into programs and go, I will not let my child be marginalized. I will not let my child be pushed. I will not let my child be bullied. I just need, if there's an audacious mother in the room, just put your hands together and give. But Jermaine, you know what I like about her? She refused to be polite. That's not becoming. I don't know why they're talking with a raised voice. She said, I don't care who's here. I got to go see Jesus. I don't care which introduction or who's not going to introduce me. I'm going to push to the front of the line. But she knows that somebody needs to hear this. So she goes, Rabbi, and grabs him. This is where her boldness happened. She speaks not when she's spoken to. She speaks because her child needs her to be audacious. I've seen mothers be so audacious for their child. Sometimes I'll be like, wow. It takes a special kind of boldness to step into certain places. But what I do know is this, is that she walked into a house where she was not invited. She fell at a teacher's feet she was not supposed to approach. And because this audacious mother knows that protocol doesn't heal children. Systems don't heal children. Praying mothers heal children. Mothers, I just need to give you this. Do not lose your audacity. Do not let this culture marginalize your children and make them feel small. Don't let them think they're growing up in a world where AI is going to take their job and their creativity is not needed and their voice doesn't need to be heard and the laws are changing to marginalize them because of the color of their skin. Just let them know that they come from a proud people and they can step anywhere and do anything, because I just need one or two audacious mothers that say, I don't care what the Supreme Court says. I don't care what the tech company says. I don't care what anybody else says. My baby is going to live his destiny out. Audacity. She kicked the door open. But we come to one, but then she has tenacity. We get to one of the most interesting pieces of text right here. This verse has always bothered me. It's always bothered me because now she gets in front of Jesus and she explains the problem. And Jesus answers in one of the most puzzling ways I've ever heard him answer. He goes, I can't give you anything till I give the children. Now, if I came that far and that's what Jesus said, I'm not mother, I probably would have walked away. Because Jesus said it. But this mother looks at the creator of the universe and says the answer's not good enough. Because my baby needs something. I don't know. As I read this, I had a couple of interesting pieces. The first thing is that tenacity that stays at the altar until the answer comes. Listen to me. She didn't give up because the first answer wasn't the answer she needed. She decided, I'm going to stay right here at this altar. I'm going to stay right in front of Jesus. I'm going to stay right here on bended knees. I'm going to stay right here and keep talking. I'm going to stay right here and do what I need to do. I'm going to stay right here because let me be honest with you. Sometimes you got hard-headed children. I done told them, I done spoke to them, I done told them, I done spoke to them. Wait, you about to find out. I done told them, I done spoke to them, I done told them, and they still got to go learn by putting their hand on the stove. But let me tell you, She says, I don't care what the answer is. My child is still not fixed. I still am in the same position. So she's like, I'm going to sit right here at Jesus' foot until I get the right answer. I'm telling you right now, tenacity doesn't give up after 5 years. Tenacity doesn't give up after 10 years. Tenacity stays until it works. That's it. I am no angel. But I will be honest, Reverend Michael Ray, Sister Lori, I really did help my parents' prayer life. I was a profound teacher of prayer. So after 3 high schools and come back home from the first college and move out, they were still praying for me. I didn't get fixed in 9th and 10th grade. As a matter of fact, I used to say my parents started making more sense when I turned 26. I went back to church at 27. Because what happens is I know my mother has been praying for me. I know my mother kept praying for me. I know my mother kept looking for me. Let me tell you, I have evidence of what a mother does. When I grew up back in the days, back in the Stone Age, we didn't have ADD. It wasn't a diagnosis. Nobody, you have a sad IEP. What's an IEP? That's a flavor at Baskin Robbins? No. I grew up at a time when they didn't diagnose children. So I always struggled in high school. I went to 3 of them. I always struggled in college. But I remember getting a call from my mother when I was 25 or 26. And she said, I keep trying to find things for you. And they have this new thing, not new thing, but this thing they're doing more evaluations on called ADD. I'll pay for the doctor to evaluate you. I had left our house. I had my own career. But she kept praying on her baby that was struggling in high school at 14. And it didn't get answered till... I don't know who I'm talking to. You are probably struggling with a child. You are dealing with difficult situations. You are fighting with something right now. But I'm saying don't give up. Don't give up. Because God will answer that prayer. Tenacity outlasts the silence. I don't know why God stays silent. I don't know why God doesn't answer prayers right away. But some of us have been praying for a long time. Some of us have been bringing this thing to the altar for days and years. Some of us will bring it for more years. But what I'm here to tell you is hold on to God's unchanging hand. Hold to his hand. God's unchanging hand. Because what I know about this is that you stay at the altar, you stay in prayer, you stay on the floor, you stay, as Dr. Cynthia Willis Stewart always said, stay in your prayer tent with your face looking at God. Keep lifting that child up, even if you don't hear an answer. Because what I know, not in my time, but in God's time, he answers prayer. I don't know, tenacious mothers, somebody owes you praise this morning. Somebody is breathing because you would not stop interceding. Someone is delivered because you would not stop believing. Somebody's in the kingdom because you would not give up on them when they had given up on themselves. The God who answered Hannah's tenacity, the God who answered the Syrophoenician woman's tenacity, the God is still rewarding tenacious faith. The final thing, we come to the moment that changes everything. Jesus looks at this woman who has outlasted his silence, talked around his metaphor, and he says, for this statement, you may go your way. The demon has left your daughter. Now, what's amazing about this moment of faith, and my last point is the faith of this woman, is she didn't see evidence of what God was doing before she believed. You all missed it. Yeah, because she spoke to Jesus there, and the church got it messed up. We believe you got to bring them all here, then we lay hands and clean them up. I'm telling you, we're better than AT&T and Verizon. God can work long distance and won't charge you extra. She doesn't see it. She doesn't feel it. She has no proof in her hand, just a word from Jesus. And on the strength of that word, she walks home. And when she gets home, the child is lying on the bed and the demon is gone. This is faith. I don't know who I'm talking to today, but I need you to know faith says yes before it sees how. Some of us have extra anxiety because we're holding on to something Jesus has given us a yes on. You got to leave it in Jesus' hands, because sometimes you might be in the middle of a battle and you might pray for it here, but if you prayed for it here and God has given you yes, get up, brush yourself off, walk into your victory. Stop acting depressed, beat up, tired, and worn out. I need all believers to say, if God's given you a yes, you need to do a yes. Now, Michael, I keep calling you because I like this verse. I don't know. But Lori, this is a thing that blessed me. The woman only asked for the leftovers at Jesus. You know, I know some of you are French Laundry, protege crowd. You want every course and every meal. You want to eat everything. You want to get it all, you know. You want to get it all. But what I'm here to tell you is, with Jesus, you don't need it all. He's got so much power in his hands that if you get a leftover, it can change your life. You don't need the whole feast. You just need a crumb. You just need a fragment, just one piece of what falls from your hand, because I know who you are. Jesus knows who you are. Jesus knows what you've done. Jesus is very clear on who you are. And sometimes we're trying to ask God to fix it all, but he wants to give you a crumb so that he knows you can move your path and go in a different direction. Some of us couldn't handle the whole meal if God gave it to us. Because I know that if I just get a little bit of Jesus, it could fix all my problems. But before I close this, I would not be standing in this pulpit today if it had not been for my mother's prayers. I would not be here if it had not been for my mother's prayers. Even when I was childish, my mother's prayers worked. Even when I was foolish, my mother's prayer worked. Even when I was wondering, my mother's prayer worked. Even when I was scared, my mother's prayer worked. Even when I was running from God, my mother's prayers were running faster. When I did not know what to ask her for, she was asking. When I did not know what to pray for, she was praying. When I did not even know I was in trouble, she was already at the altar speaking my name to heaven. There were nights I went to sleep without a thought of God, and she stayed up with God on my behalf. There were seasons I forgot who I was, and she reminded heaven who I belonged to. And I'm a witness this morning that a mother's prayers follow you. A mother's prayer outruns you. A mother's prayer outlasts you. A mother's prayer goes to places you can't go and reaches into rooms you can't enter and pulls you back from edges you did not even know you were on. Somebody in here is alive because of their mother's prayer. Somebody in here is sober because of their mother's prayer. Somebody in here is saved because of their mother's prayer. Somebody in here is sitting in this sanctuary instead of a cell, a hospital, hospital or a bad place because of a mother's prayer. Somebody is breathing this morning because a mother would not stop breathing your name to God. The same God that met Jochebed in Egypt, the same God that met Hannah in Shiloh, the same God that met Mary in Nazareth, the same God who answered the Syrophoenician woman, the same God answered my mother, the same God answered your mother, and the same God in this room this morning will still be answering prayers in Palo Alto. I don't know who I'm talking to, but if you've been blessed by the prayer of your mother, you ought to open your mouth and give God glory. You ought to stand on your feet and say, thank God somebody prayed for me. Thank God somebody met me in the midnight hour. Thank God somebody interceded for me.